Welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode of the No Matter What podcast. My name is Tina, my co-host.
My name is Rafa. I'd like to introduce to you Sean.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Sean? How's
Sean?
everything going with you, man?
That's good. It's
So,
good.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, born and raised Southern California, down in Orange County, down by Santa Ana. Little ghetto kid, little barrio kid, half-breed kid, which is part of my story as well. That upbringing, and I will say that I grew up with recovery in my family. I'm third generation in recovery. My grandpa, my dad, me, and then there's a fourth generation, my nephew. I was just telling Rafa about that, and hey, it's a family thing. And but it took a while for me to get out of denial and fully accept that I'm a split image of my dad when he was not in recovery. So um, I had to go through a lot till I had to finally realize that I'm just like him. I'm an addict and I'm an alcoholic. Hope to die, and my story tells it. It's pretty bad.
Got you. So like, what made you get clean this time?
What made me get clean was, in the end, that was April 9th, 2015. The severity of my using anything I can get my hands on was my last relapse. I was high on meth, GHB, Xanax, muscle relaxers, and heroin, and I passed out and went head on into a power pole and woke up on impact. And the relapse before that one, I flatlined. I died, and didn't learn. 2 months later, I'm out using again. But that last relapse told me, Sean, you know what's next, because all you're doing is overdosing. So you're going to die. And phone calls from my pops. He knew I was struggling. He let it play out. He says, boy, you keep doing that shit, you're going to end up dead. Because he knows. He knew, because he was that. And finally, I can hear him in the back of my. And I get goosebumps when I talk about pops, because he's up in heaven now. But whenever I talk about him, I get the goosebumps. That just tells me I'm listening, boy. And in the end, when I finally got clean, we were going to meetings together, and it was amazing, and it was powerful. I remember one time I had shared at a meeting, and when I sat down, I looked at him. He had this grin on his face. He was nodding like, "Damn, my boy is at a fucking meeting with me. Fuck yes." And me and Dad were good. We passed. I did my 9-step amends. I did 2 of them with him, and we were good. Um, Same with my mom. Me and Mom were good, and she knew her son struggled as well. And those 9 steps with those 2 were, whew, wow. Um, but that's what I learned. I had to learn to feel to heal, and feel every motherfucking thing. Rage, frustration, anger, sadness, just all of that. All that stuff I used to drown year after year after year, numbing out because I didn't want to feel it. And it came to the point, well, you don't want to feel it, then you're going to end up dead. You hear my dad, boy, you keep doing that, you're going to end up dead. So today, when I have to feel shit, I welcome it, because you got to feel to heal. That's what was told to me. And I have guys under my wing that I sponsor and stuff, and I tell them, they'll call me in the middle of the night, or I sponsor this girl named Gina, and she's going through it. I said, well, girl, you got to feel to heal. Well, why do I keep relapsing? Am I going to be those ones that never get this? And I said, well, girl, right now, getting fucked up and high is more important than getting clean. So when that switches, it'll happen. I can say today, she's on Monday's going to be reading her 5th step. It switched. She wants to stay clean more. She wants to get high. See, I told you. And what I'm relaying to you is what someone relayed to me year after year. I partied for 32 years. And I had to wait till I was 49 years. I'm 60 years old today. I had to wait till I was 49. I'm a late bloomer. But there was a lot of damage. And so that step work was fucking hardcore shit. I mean, what was told to me, and I tell the guys that I take under my wing, and I said, we're gonna get out that shit shovel, and we're gonna scoop some stinky motherfucking shit, and it's your own. And I tell them, and if it gets too stinky and stuff, and it gets a little dark, I'll just hold a fucking flashlight, keep digging, because someone told me that. Keep digging that shit because it's yours, and we got to get that out. Because if you leave that residue, you might relapse. We can't leave that shit. Like with the character defects. Um, when we have the 7-step prayer, God will remove them. I believe for me, he'll remove them, or just for that certain time. But sometimes they come back. But I get uncomfortable when they're just rearing their head. I'm just like, oh, fuck no. And I'll call my sponsor, and he goes, well, what do you expect? What are you going to do? And I'm like, he says, who have you helped today? I'm like, how is that going to help me? And he goes, then why'd you call me? And then you help someone. I'm just like, that whatever I was going through and the character defect suddenly just goes, because I helped someone. Ah, I get goosebumps again thinking about it. It's all about being of service and helping people. And when you guys asked me to do this, I said, hell yeah, hell motherfucking yes. I'll tell my story because that's what someone did for me, and to extend the hand of hope that was given to me. You told me, they tell us what's been freely given to you, freely give it back. I don't expect anything in return. Today, I do that, and I don't expect anything in return. In fact, if someone wants to give, I'm like, I get uncomfortable. Um, but it took a long, long, long time to get to the point of who I am, what I am, and how I am today. I still have a long way to go, but I'm definitely not who I was back then. I'll tell you one thing that was so powerful was the amends with my twin brother. I have a twin brother who's a normie, and he was addicted to not alcohol or drugs. He was addicted to the body of life, gang banging, robberies, violence, fucking people up, pulling guns on people, robbing people. And one time I caught him. I said, "What the fuck are you doing, bro?" He goes, We're jumping homies, man. We're getting money from him." He was at a bar jumping people in the back. I'm like, "Why the fuck are you doing that for?" Because that's what he did. He was always in prison, right? And when I did my nice type amends with him, he's got all these prison tattoos, big old dude. And to see him break down and cry like a little baby, uh, it gets me kind of emotional just even every time I talk about it because we're close. And I call him every day, and we're close. And I let him say what he had to say, and he told me everything I put him through was what we put our families through. Um, and he just says, "All I know, Sean, is I have the twin brother that I always wanted right here in front of me." And he bawled like a baby and held me. And then I started crying too. And today I call him every day. And then when we hang up, we both say, "Hey man, I love you." And he goes, "I love you too," because we mean it. We went through his shit. I went through mine. It's full circle. And now every day we talk.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, what is the biggest lie you told yourself in active addiction?
Biggest lie? Nobody knows.
I mean, do you think now looking at it, man, like, do you think people didn't know?
Now I'm like, you're a fucking dumbass. You thought you were fooling
Right,
people? I
right.
can give you an example. Um, I had gotten sober for a few months, clean and sober, and I went to pick up my dad, and we'd go to morning meetings, right? Or we'd go out at the retirement home in Long Beach. That's where I got clean. Is I'd pick him up, and we'd go out to In-N-Out Burger, and sometimes we'll go to a meeting. We'd hang out for the day. And I had relapsed bad, and I'd used right before I went to pick him up, and I was all like this, just and he waited till after I was dropping him off at the retirement home. And my dad didn't play. He was an old timer that would light you up verbally, and he'd punch you. He'd fucking knock you out. He's an ex boxer, so he'd come at you. And I guess he had let it play out too many years to where he finally just let me have it, and what he said was, he says, "Hey, Joker," and when he said that, I knew I was in trouble. I'm like, "Fuck." He goes, "Next time you motherfucking come pick me up, come come sober. Don't come over here going, 'Hey, Dad.'" I was all twitching and stuff, and I didn't think he knew. I thought I was fooling him. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I noticed that you're high as fuck. Now get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And that hurt me. That hurt me. I did
What
it.
what part of recovery still scares you?
What part of recovery scares me? Relapse. Relapse. And, like, I was at a meeting one time, I said, "I've pretty much done practically everything, but you know what? I got in recovery and put it all down before the fentanyl thing came out." An old timer goes, "Yet?" I'm like, "Damn, he's right." He goes, "That's a yet, keep coming back." I'm like, "Man, he's right." And relapse, relapse, 'cause I know I have another relapse in me, but I don't have another comeback
Yes.
because the way I was rolling in the end, and me, I usually take off where I left off, even if it's, 10 years later. I have, 28 days, 9 months, and 10 years. The reason why I say the days, because the days mean a lot. Because I couldn't even get an hour without thinking about using.
What does that mean though for the viewers, right? Not for, I know what that means, but I might have another relapse, but not a comeback.
Because that's all I've ever did before I put it down was relapse, and I would come back, and I would come back, but I've learned through the steps and working with others and from listening to the old timers, which I'm sitting here right now because an old timer prayed like hell for me, and he was my dad and a bunch of of his friends. Um, is listening to them and their wisdom and I know the severity of my using in the end and how bad it was, and I won't survive it. I won't survive it. And with what's going on out there now, with the people that are, younger or into this stuff, fentanyl's killing everybody, and it's in everything. So, it's happening more often than I would say when we all got clean. It's happening more often. People say, "Well, I can just come back. I'll go out and just take a little toke and come," and guess what? You get dead, and you end up in a pine box at a morgue, and you end up a motherfucking statistic, and I don't wanna be a statistic today, and I'll go through what I need to go through, the feelings, the trials, the tragedy. I stayed clean and sober through the death of my dad, my mom, last February, my dog, and it's because they people in recovery surrounded me, and I did what they told me to do, talk about it. And after their funerals, my mom and my dad, which we were good, like I said, I did my amends with them, is after their, funerals, where did I go? I went to a meeting, and I talked about it, and I said, "I just laid my dad to rest, and my mom." And the old timers, I'm getting goosebumps. My mom, the old timers go, "That's what we fucking do." So the new people that listen to this, it's it's allowing yourself to get vulnerable, exposed enough from here to, not only your heart, but your soul to be cracked open just a little bit, so some of that hope that we talk about, people that have been around for can come inside, something happens.
See, but most newcomers now, man, and I've noticed this, have a lot of resistance. You know what I mean? And they have so much resistance to a new way of life and change, to where their old behaviors is more attractive than someone that's living a beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic life. And that sucks. It does suck, and as much as like we all try to help another individual out, we can't gives, they say you can't take a horse to go drink water. You can't force the horse to go drink water, and it sucks. Um, so you've been to treatment, man, right? So tell me how treatment was for you.
I failed.
Why?
I failed because I failed to do what was suggested to me in getting in recovery and really grasping this thing, embracing this thing, and then learning to live it. And after that treatment center was up in Redwood City or San Francisco, expensive as fuck. Back when I had money, I smoked it all up. It's I like that thing where they talk about from Park Avenue to Park Bench. Well, I went from staying in the expensive hotels in New York City and in Chicago, the Drake and all that stuff, to homeless behind a bush in Hollywood with my dog. Used to live on Old Malibu Road. Lost all that shit. Smoked it all up. And then I went up to Redwood City and went into a rehab. It was a 30-day rehab, and then I went into aftercare, which was big old house in Palo Alto like this, and then I went to a sober living, and I was good for a year and a half. No sponsor, no steps, no foundation. Nah, it
Yeah, I
was
was gonna ask you why you failed.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I was gonna ask. What was the
sponsor, no
hardest part of it?
foundation, no phone calls to anybody, just and still hanging around the same old crowd.
Self-will.
Yeah,
Self-will,
self
right.
will run riot,
Yep. Hmm.
and
So, what was the hardest part of the treatment? Because you said you failed a lot of times, but was it? What do you think was the not willing to listen to people that work there? Was it
not enough,
tough?
not enough consequences.
So you didn't have enough consequences in the street.
Um, I had some in the street.
That's why I asked, because I know for a lot of people that come to treatment now is because they're trying to run away from something in the street. You know, whether it's because they're homeless, whether it's law, whether it's people. For you, what was that part? What was the part that you did not want to hear? That you thought that, you know what, I don't need to hear that because I know it all.
Because my dad went through that. It was denial. I'm not like my dad. No, no. With
So
him
at what point did it click and said, I am exactly like my dad?
in 2015. Well, the first time I had this is the longest time I've been in recovery is the 10 years plus. I had 2 years, 10 months, and I did steps and did all that stuff. And but I didn't have much of a foundation. It was shaky, and I went out.
So you brought up your dad. Were yours and your dad's relationship shaky in the beginning? Because he was in recovery and you were out doing the opposite?
Kinda. But he would still take me to meetings, and he would introduce me to his old timer friends, and he'd say, "Hey, my boy's joining us today. He's trying to get this shit."
Trying to plant the seed.
Yeah, and the old timers were like, "Hey, welcome, man. Welcome, son. Come on over here and sit with us." He tried. He was trying, and he knew. And there was a part of him where man, I put that man through because he was a single father. He had divorced my mom, and he raised 4 of us. He's never home. He's always working, so we're running the streets, doing crazy stuff. And how I was able to um, come into that money was I'm gay, so I had a sugar daddy. And how I did that because I used to escort. And this multimillionaire says, "Man, I'm gonna take you from this life." Because I lived in Hollywood here, moved from Orange County to Hollywood, and I was fashion modeling, and I was making a lot of money. And then this gay porn producer who's still around today and really famous comes up and says, "You want to make a motherfucker? You have a look. I'm gonna get you in these movies." I said, "All right." And all I wanted was the attention, the popularity, the adoration. Because I was just a battered and beaten kid that was from the foster homes when my dad beat my mom and he went to jail. So I just wanted to be accepted. And I was just this hurt little kid.
So that goes into the trauma aspect.
Trauma, it was bad trauma.
So it definitely a lot of trauma that we had to basically, like we said, we got to peel that onion back. There's a lot of layers. You were saying earlier, the digging part.
Yeah. I was beaten in the foster. I was in there from age 5 to 7. I was beaten in the foster homes. I was sexually molested, where an older male would trap me in a tool shed and do what he had to do, and then he'd let me go and say, "If you tell anyone, I'm gonna fuck you up." I never said anything until I was in that rehab and told my dad. And my dad got real quiet. Because let me tell you about my dad, if you couldn't do anything with his kids, he would hunt people down and fuck them up. And I believe that was a blessing. Because back then, my dad, back then, my I believe if my dad found out back then, because I went bounced from home to home. If my dad had found out, he'd probably be serving 2 life sentences for killing someone because you fucked with my kid. And it was a blessing. But I held all that trauma. So um, I was modeling, and then I started doing gay porn, and I blasted off. I was on my ass in West Hollywood. I had placards everywhere in the stores, premieres, all that. I didn't care. I just wanted to numb out. I don't care about this shit. Oh, look, this is all for you, Sean. And I had my stage name. This is all for you. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Where's the bar?
You were using at the time.
Yeah, getting worse and worse and worse.
Fueling up your addiction.
So it was
Yeah.
progressively getting worse.
I hated me for being gay. I didn't accept me. And this is the love my dad learned in recovery because he went from a man that was violent, brutal, despicable ex-boxer that would fuck people up bad. Kind of like my brother who turned into like my dad. And he was violent. And each year that he got that recovery thing that I used to go check out his little place he would pray in our house. And all of a sudden these chips started coming up 9 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And then I'm getting goosebumps again. And then that's just my dad saying, I'm listening. Dad was changing. He became a man full of love for everyone. He would do anything for everybody. And it took me to finally find recovery that realized that's why dad was changing. And I had moments of clarity. If this could have changed my dad, it can change me. And that's when I started realizing, you know what? You need to put it down. It's a wrap. It's done. The party's over. Um, but what happened was I was the last kid to leave the house. Everyone else got married. My brother was in prison and this and that. And they used to have the party lines. You remember the party lines? They used to have party lines. So one time I came down and I had all my straight friends I hung out with. I played sports, all this stuff. And my dad was he jogged marathons, he boxed, he ultra sports dude playing basketball. And yeah, so I came downstairs. I was on the party lines one night and I was dealing with me hanging out with my straight friends and then going to the gay bars and the bookstores. I'm like, something's wrong with me. I said, I was imploding. I didn't know what to do. I was desperate. And I came downstairs one time and my dad says, it was on the party lines. My dad comes down and jumps off the couch. And I thought he was going to kick my ass. He says, who in the fuck are these friends of yours that are calling me in the middle of the night saying, hey, Sean, hey, bitch, what's up, girl? I'm just like, oh, fuck. I thought that was it. My world was over. My dad just found out. And something got into me where I picked the flower vase off the coffee table and I threw it at my dad. Don't call my friends. I threw it at him and he ducked. And he had these blue eyes that would pierce you because he used to tell me, boy, me and my brother, when you boys think you're bad enough, we're going to go rounds in the front yard and we'll see what you got. Thought this was the day. Don't call my friends. They weren't my friends. They were just part, but I just didn't know what to do. And he ducked and he looked at me and I said, by the way, I'm gay. And he looked at me and he goes, what did you just say? I'm like, fuck. He's taking me to the front yard. I'm gonna die today. He's gonna fuck me up. And that's what I thought. And then I started getting emotional and I lost it. And he says, come here, man. Come here, boy. And he grabbed me. And I still think I could see the look on his face. And he says, Sean, I don't care that you're gay. You're my boy. I love you. I just want to know that you're gonna be okay. I got you. Doesn't matter to me. And to the day he died, my dad accepted me for who I was, how I was, and what I was. And for years, I didn't accept that. But what my dad did is who I was, what I was, and how he nourished it, and he held it, and he protected it until I was able to. And today, I accept myself fully for who I am. I am a gay man, and I'm proud.
Yeah.
And dad helped.
That's why I love recovery.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you get the worst of the worst from society, quote unquote, and you bring them into a room of recovery and you allow them to be vulnerable and be who they're going to be and who they want to be. And it's just a beautiful thing. It really is. I mean, at what point, because you said at the time you weren't accepting of yourself, when did you start accepting yourself as being gay?
Well, after that, I left the house. That's when I started fashion modeling. And another reason I got in I hated me, rage towards me. Okay, world, you want this? All right, I'll give it to you. Fucking the whole world can see it. I'm gonna take my clothes off and do whatever you want in a fucking camera. Fuck you, you, and fuck me too. That's what I was doing. And it took then I started dating guys and getting relationships with guys. But I was looking to other guys and getting relationships with other guys, still using a lot, using them, manipulating them, trying to have them to fill the void in me, that space in me that only God could fill. And I thought they could do it. And the sugar daddy, the one that says, stop doing the porno, paid my last month's rent in Hollywood, moved me to Old Malibu Road, gave me a brand new Jeep, a Mercedes, and an Explorer, threw all the trinkets that the world says will make you happy. And I was miserable. Moved up to San Francisco. We lived in Division Daryl in this big old flat. And he threw all this money at me. He says, whatever I have is yours. In the beginning, I used to say, thank you. Because that's how I was raised. Say thank you and please. And he says, don't ever tell me thank you. Whatever's mine is yours. I didn't want to do that because I wasn't raised that way. I had an aunt who used to get mad at me. She goes, Sean, you handled that situation with him so wrong. You could have took that fucker for everything. I'm like, that's you. It's not me. It wasn't how I was raised. And I left him because he shipped me to New York to go to Syracuse, in Syracuse, New York, take care of his dad. And after that, I said, fuck, I'm out of here. Found another victim, moved to South Florida, and then to Atlanta. And then I found another victim, and I ended up in fucking Montgomery, Alabama on a 9-month blackout because the dude was a dealer and a stripper. And I finally came to, I think this is when it happened, 2002. I finally came to, my dad was calling me. I had 6 months. I was going to meetings. So I said, I got to stop doing this. And in Alabama, I had 6 months, started going to meetings. And they still have smoking meetings there. And then I came out here in 2002 and I started embracing me.
What did you learn from treatment?
What did I learn from treatment?
Because for me, I know I've been in many treatments myself. And initially, I like to think that I didn't learn nothing from treatment. But that's me lying. I learned a lot from treatments. I just wasn't willing to hear it, you know? But for me, every treatment that I went to, I've learned a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. What did you get out of treatment?
Knowledge I learned of what made me tick. But that was it. That was it.
What set you off, meaning? Got you mad?
It's okay. So maybe I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict. Okay. So what? You're giving me all these numbers and we're reading all this shit. So what? That was my attitude. Who fucking cares? I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to stop to where it had to get so bad that the consequences started coming and consequences to where I'm able to be an open book today about it, like with having a pre-existing ailment because of doing all the pornos and stuff, and I'm undetectable and I'm really healthy, being HIV positive because I was going to sex tweaker parties. That's a consequence, Sean. And when I went to the doctor and he called me out, he says, "You're a fucking tweaker." The doctor told me that, right? And so when it comes to treatment, the treatment centers, it was like I was in a cocoon, and it's like you're safe in the cocoon, and it just didn't tick for me because I just didn't want it. I didn't want it. It's just it didn't it when it finally clicked and I finally stopped was I had to basically crawl into the rooms of recovery. So desperate, get the desperation. So desperate.
So when you came into the rooms of recovery, right? Like, what was your feeling, right? Like, how did you feel about, like, obviously it was uncomfortable, right? Like going somewhere that you don't know people or don't know what they're about. It's very uncomfortable, right? So like when you came in, like what were your thoughts? Like was it just going to be a one time thing and then it's game over, or is it just, a a steady motion where you go to meetings and you take commitments and you work with the sponsor, and so forth and so forth.
It I actually wanted the laughter that I saw in the rooms because I didn't laugh in a long time. The camaraderie, how they'd go out and fellowship and go out to eat, um, just the love and just what's the word, togetherness in the meetings and stuff. And I would sometimes say, "That's why Dad liked it." Wow. And it took a while till because I came from a person that likes to isolate. Still, I do sometimes. And sometimes it takes a lot to get me to a meeting and to be around, and then I'll tell myself, "Sean, why do you try to deny yourself being in a meeting like this? This is beautiful." Yeah. It's not as bad as it used to be, but, and it took a minute. It took a minute, but, what they had, I wanted, and especially the stories and hearing, them share tragedy, despair, defeats, but also victories. And how they put their lives back together, that they went from who they were here to who they are today. I'm like, "I want that. I need that." And to the point, I heard someone say, "Sean, recovery's not for those that want it, not for those that need it. It's for those that do it. What are you gonna do? Get busy living or stay stuck dying?" The key word is get busy. Are you ready? I'm like, "Hell yeah, I am." And I remember I was at a meeting, my sponsor, I had him for 10 years down in Long Beach named Miles, and he's got 46 years now. And I remember one day, my dad would go to a morning meeting and my dad pulled him aside and he goes, "Hey, Miles, come here." He says, "I want to thank you so much for working with my boy." Because my dad started to see, damn, Sean's getting this. Oh shit, something's happening here. And he was able to tell me, "Thank you for working with my boy." And Miles says, "This is what we do. This is what we do."
So in the beginning, were you did you try to fight it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It, I basically surrendered for freedom,
What is freedom to you? What does freedom mean to you?
freedom from me. It's freedom from me, my character defects, freedom from the things I used to do, from but they told me it's going to take time to have freedom from yourself, and and it's going to take God to do that for you. That's why with my sponsees, step 1, 2, and 3, we need to get those down so hardcore because you know what? The remaining step, you're going to need him or her or whatever it is. Because if you don't have those first 2, 3s, those first 3 steps, you're fucked. Like I told you about the girl, there's this girl Gina, and she was having a problem with that, and we really focused on 1, 2, and 3. And today this girl, she's doing her fifth step on Monday. And and there's a certain set of prayers that she does. And I'm like, so how are those prayers going? She goes, oh my God, Sean, I'm starting to feel something. There's like a presence. I said, see?
So you just talked
Okay.
about prayer, right?
Yeah.
So when you first came into the rooms, were you uh
No,
okay.
because my name is Sean Connell O'Neill. My dad, the Irish surfer from Santa Monica, moves to Anaheim and meets a Chicana, a Chola, my mom, because he liked Cholas.
Eh,
So that makes me a leprechauno, I guess, right?
Leprechaun. I like that. I
Wow.
like that.
So they're both sides were hardcore Catholic. So when I was a little altar boy, me and my twin brother, doing that. So, but the God that I was brought up with is not the God I believe in today, especially me being a gay man. Today, I believe God loves me for who I am, what I am, and how I am because He created me that way. And I came in because I have some sponsees. They're like, Sean, I'm not religious like you. I said, I'm not religious either. My program is spiritual. There is no religion in it. And I said, you know what? I came in the rooms with a lot of religion for God. Today, because of the steps and going through and doing some therapy and going through the steps a few times, is I used to have a religion for God. Today, I have a relationship with God. There's a big difference, and it's close, it's tight, it's dope as fuck, and it's awesome and it's amazing and it's unique. And it's my own unique relationship with my higher power that no one can touch. And that's the selfish part of the program is me and my God are like this.
So what have you gained in recovery?
What have I gained?
Because you know when you were in your active addiction, like all we knew how to do is pick up and get
Mhm.
high, right? So now that we have a clear head and we have some time under our belts, right? And we start becoming productive members of society, right?
Yeah, boy.
What have you gained from all this?
What have I gained? And it's all through my story too is up to today is April 9th, 2015. um we hear some readings where it talks about some spiritual experiences and spiritual awakenings are of the educational variety. Mine wasn't. Mine was the white light, burning bush. So, oh my fucking God, that's it happened twice to me, and the second time I finally woke up and listened. And what I gained today is, grace got me here, got me in recovery. Grace got me here, and that's all I had. Today, hope, what keeps me here is grace, hope, faith, courage, strength, tenacity, resilience. No matter fucking what attitude, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna protect my shit because what my sponsor tells me, Sean, let no one, family, a trick, a boyfriend, a brother, a sister, a husband, a wife, stand in the way of your recovery. He says you need to protect that shit because your life does depend on it. And I embrace it, I cherish it, I protect my shit. Occasionally I'll do groups in the morning. And I'll say that. And some of the clients like that. And I'm like, you need to protect that shit.
So you work in treatment.
Yes, I do.
So how is that? How is listen, like how is it to come to treatment, deal with newcomers, right? That are like Sean when Sean was
Hmm.
new in treatment. How is that?
How is it
Yeah.
to deal with me? Um,
To deal with miniature Seans.
it makes me so grateful that I don't have to be that again. Um, with the certain things I got to do so I don't have to. Um, and what it does is it gives me a little patience, love, and tolerance towards them, like people gave me. People gave me, and I'm able to give it to them. And before I started working in recovery, I'm going on 4 years working in recovery. Um, I used to be with hotels. I was a flight attendant for all the tattoos and stuff, hospitality. And someone said, Sean, I think you'd be good in recovery. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And I love it. And I was at an IOP property. I was at PHP property. I was doing all that. And then a friend of mine, she says, "Hey, we need someone in detox. Think you could do it?" I said, "All right." And that's why I like working in detox, because when they come in raw and real, I get it. I get it. I get it. That when they come in with deer in the headlight looking, I'm like, the reminder to me, I'm like, "Oh," and show them a little love, a little compassion.